They keep the enemy at gunpoint, destroying his equipment and manpower. These are the soldiers of the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems, Achilles. Their history began with volunteers who became drone pilots back in 2022, and today they are a full-fledged strike regiment as part of the ground forces of the armed forces of Ukraine, according to Glavored media outlet. The commander of the battalion of the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Achilles, Osa, told how the warriors of the Unmanned Systems Achilles destroy the enemy at the front and conduct training for new fighters. The enemy is constantly attacking our positions. Previously, they carried out assaults in large mechanized columns. After we successfully destroyed these columns, the enemy changed tactics. Now they enter in infantry groups. One at a time, maximum 2 occupiers enter our positions, but we find them and effectively destroy them. The commander of the 2nd Battalion of the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Achilles, Osa, said on the air of the telethon. The company commander, call sign Boxer, also told how one can get into the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Achilles. We teach people as much as possible and share experience. We need people, but specifically motivated ones. I personally go to the training ground. A person can be taught everything in 3 weeks. We have an example, a girl named Maricia. She's 21 years old. Maricia has already had 3 combat missions and effectively destroys the enemy, says the company commander of the 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Achilles, Boxer. The 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems Achilles carries out combat missions in 2 hot areas at once, in the areas of Kupiansk and Dvorechnaya, and is scaling up in parallel. Recently, fighters from the 429th Achilles Separate Unmanned Aerial Systems Regiment have shown how they destroyed 4 Russian Pantsir C-1 anti-aircraft missile and gun systems worth $56 million. On the 15th of March, the Achilles Regiment released the results of its work in Russia. These missions had been secret for some time. The video shows 4 Russian Pantsir S-1 air defense systems destroyed by the striking winged UAVs. Pantsir S-1 is a self-propelled anti-aircraft missile and gun system that provides close cover for civilian and military targets against airstrikes. One such system costs about $14 million, and the total cost of the destroyed military equipment is about $56 million.
Yemen's Houthi rebels aired footage on Wednesday they said showed the debris of an American MQ-9 Reaper drone. According to Associated Press, the footage showed burning wreckage of what the rebels described as an MQ-9 Reaper drone shot down in Yemen's Al-Jawaf Governorate. One man poked at the debris with a stick as those gathered chanted the Houthis' slogan, "God is the greatest, death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, victory to Islam." The U.S. Military Central Command, which oversees American military operations, said it was aware of the report of the shoot-down, but declined to answer further. The Houthis say they shoot down the drones with locally made missiles. The Houthis have surface-to-air missiles, such as the Iranian missile known as the 358, capable of downing aircraft. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, suspected U.S. airstrikes that pounded the area around Yemen's Red Sea port city of Hodeidah killed at least 10 people, the Iran-backed Houthi rebels said. The strikes Tuesday night hit around Hodeidah's Al-Hawak district, the rebels said, and wounded 16 people. The area is home to the city's airport, which the rebels have used in the past to target shipping in the Red Sea. Since its start, the intense campaign of U.S. airstrikes targeting the rebels over their attacks on shipping in Mideast waters, related to the Israel-Hamas war, has killed at least 107 people, according to casualty figures released Wednesday by the Houthis. Suspected U.S. airstrikes pounded the area around Yemen's Red Sea port city of Hodeidah on Tuesday night, killing at least 2 people and wounding 13 others, the Houthi rebels said. According to Associated Press, footage aired by the rebels' Al Masirah satellite news channel showed chaotic scenes of people carrying wounded to waiting ambulances and rescuers searching by the light of their mobile phones. The target appeared in the footage to be a home in a residential neighborhood, likely part of a wider decapitation campaign launched by the Trump administration to kill rebel leaders. The strikes hit around Hodeidah's Al-Hawak district, home to the city's airport, which the Iranian-backed rebels have used in the past to target shipping in the Red Sea. Other strikes targeted Yemen's mountainous Amran Governorate, north of the rebel-held capital of Sana'a. There, the Houthis described American strikes hitting telecommunication equipment. The U.S. Military Central Command, which oversees American military operations, did not immediately acknowledge the strikes. That follows a pattern for the command, which now has authorization from the Trump administration to conduct strikes at will in the campaign that began March 15. The American military also hasn't been providing any information on targets hit in the campaign. The White House has said over 200 strikes have been conducted so far. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, speaking in the Oval Office on Monday during a visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, warned that America was not going to relent in its campaign targeting the Houthis. The intense campaign of U.S. airstrikes targeting the rebels over their attacks on shipping in Mideast waters, related to the Israel-Hamas war, has killed at least 75 people, according to casualty figures released by the Houthis. An AP review has found the new U.S. operation against the Houthis under Trump appears more extensive than those under former President Joe Biden, as Washington moves from solely targeting launch sites to firing at ranking personnel and dropping bombs on cities. The new campaign of airstrikes started after the rebels threatened to begin targeting Israeli ships again over Israel blocking aid entering the Gaza Strip. The rebels have loosely defined what constitutes an Israeli ship, meaning many vessels could be targeted. The Houthis targeted more than 100 merchant vessels with missiles and drones, sinking 2 of them and killing 4 sailors from November 2023 until January of this year. They also launched attacks targeting American warships without success. The U.S. campaign shows no signs of stopping, as the Trump administration has linked its airstrikes on the Houthis to an effort to pressure Iran over its rapidly advancing nuclear program as well.
هذه غرفتنا 100 رمبها. راحت له